Well, hello. Here we are for Q&A number 67. And we're going to add on to our last story. The first one we talked about how we met. Then second we talked about getting Joe home from Europe so we could meet. And this time we're going to talk about
what?
Joe telling me how old he really is. Because when we were our first date, he told me he was 27.
Yeah.
So he's been coming down every day to see me, helping me with my chores. My dad always says the boys can come around if they help with the chores. If they don't help,
but I enjoyed helping you.
Yeah, he liked helping, and
I'm still not clear what Lucerne is, but
hey.
Oh, what do you call it, Lucerne?
Huh? We just call it hay, but my dad would always call it Lucerne.
Oh, and that confused me because Lucerne was Lucerne. It was the name of a city in Switzerland.
Yeah, so he liked that.
That's what I got.
And so Joe's coming down a lot, and he's, every day he worked the graveyard shift at Albertsons, and so he would take the garbage out every morning, and he'd say, "Oh, it's going to be a rosy day."
Yeah, to see the sun shining, and it just looked like a happy day coming.
Yeah, so he's pretty excited about that. But so we would talk, and we'd say, "Oh, I'm falling in like with you," and we wouldn't say the word love yet. And Joe knows that. How long's it been? 1 month,
Since
2 months
what?
since you told me you were 27.
I can't remember. Around that, it progressed.
It progressed very fast. So we were having fun, and he'd come down, and me and my sisters would go singing, and he'd come watch us sing and help with chores, and then he'd have to leave by 11 at night to hurry and get home. And my mom would say, "You gotta let that boy go. You'd rush home to get to work late at night. It was hard to say goodbye." And so Joe, it's getting closer. I mean, we're starting to fall in like. And he goes, "I better tell her my real age." And we had a tree house that my sister had built. It was just a floor with some little walls, little short walls that boards that she had boarded up, and we'd sleep out there at night.
And by the way, I was thinking I'm getting in deeper and deeper.
Yeah, he says.
And here I am, 16 years older than her. We need to lay the cards on the table.
Because he's afraid if he tells me that I'll dump him. But he says, "I've got to tell her. This can't keep going on."
No, I was actually afraid that her dad, he likes guns quite a bit, has lots of hidden guns in his house.
Well, hunters always have guns. My dad's a hunter, a deer hunter.
No, he's got a lot of guns in his house. And why do you think when the police came, they were scared to go in his house because he had a lot of guns? Oh, that's
another story.
Okay.
Don't get him started on another story. So Joe's thinking, he says, "I've got to..."
Excuse me, but what I was worried about is her dad saying, "Look, you're closer to my age than you are to her age. Get out of my house right now." That's what I was afraid of.
Okay. So we'd been dating a couple of months, and Joe says, "Well, I've just got to tell her, and can't keep this lie." He told it our first date thinking we'd never date again, but then we kept dating. He says, "Oh, now I got to fix that. I got to tell the truth." So we thought we'd go up in the tree house. And,
is that where I told you?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I forgot.
Up in the tree house. And my mom, whenever we'd go up in the tree house, my mom would always send my little brothers down. She says, "Go keep an eye on them." But they'd hide underneath. There's a little place underneath in the V of the tree, the little, where they'd sit and
hide. It was
hide.
A tree house with maybe equivalent of 1 story high.
Yeah, it was.
And it had a floor and kind of a back, kind of a wall.
And we'd paint pictures on the walls and stuff. And anyway, so Joe says, "I got something I got to tell you." And I go, "Well, what is it?" And
had I said I loved you already?
No, we were still at I falling in like. We hadn't said the love words yet.
Okay.
And so Joe, he says, "Well..."
It's the only 4-letter word I like.
What?
Love.
Oh, love.
Well, because usually all the bad words are 4 letters.
So,
H-E double toothpick.
So we're up in the toothpick. We're up in the tree house, and she says, "I got to tell you something." I go, "What?" He goes, "Well, I'm not really 27. I said, "Oh, how old are you?" Because I thought 27 was old. And it was old to an 18-year-old. And
so that's 9 years older than you, so it was old.
Yeah, then the 27. He goes, I'm 36.
No, 34.
Oh, 34. I'm
Whatever.
34.
She's
Oh,
trying
I had to
to
think
add
for a
more.
minute.
Add
No, I
more.
had to think. Well, how old was he? 34. And so he says, I'm 34. And I go,
So do the math in your head. Anyway, it comes out 16 years older.
I can't do math in my head. And I go, so you're still Joe. I thought nothing's changed.
No,
You're still...
we need to change that. There was a cold silence.
Was there?
Yes, for
Oh.
about 30 seconds, and I just
It was a cold silence.
yeah, very cold silence. And finally, Roseanne came with her famous statement. Now say it slower.
Well, the thinking was I was waiting for something to change, how I felt, and nothing had changed because you were 34 instead of 27. And I was thinking, well, you're still Joe. Nothing's changed.
But you didn't say that.
No, I said, oh, you're still Joe.
Yeah, there you go.
That the famous line?
That's how you said it.
And I guess you gave a sigh of relief. And
Well, I did not an obvious one.
I know
No,
it wasn't obvious to me.
Let's say
I don't care.
the war was not won yet with marrying Roseanne. You know,
Yeah, not yet.
All the problems.
So you told
it was just
me-
one little battle I'd won.
Yeah, that's the first battle. And I'm thinking it doesn't matter because I believed in temple marriage, marriage after this life, and I thought, what's 16 years in eternity? It doesn't matter to me. It really didn't matter to me.
No,
I
make,
didn't.
make noise.
Oh,
Hard.
okay, go.
There.
You're trying to do it sideways. It's hard. And so, of course, my brothers, I don't know if they hopped down and told Mom and Dad or if I told them or what. So we go down and the news gets out pretty quick that Joe's 34 and not 27. And then they want to know, well, he's going to die before you. And why do you want to marry a guy that much older? And
Now, wait a minute.
okay, go ahead.
Because you used the quote from your dad. When the dad found out, I almost had my hand on the door handle, like
Ready to run?
I was just leaving. Okay, so
We'll see.
you don't have to kick me out. I was just leaving. Anyway, he went quiet. The dad, and I.
So I guess I told him then.
Yeah, he went quiet and he just said, "Well, you know he's going to die before you." And I just thought, "Oh, that's his
That's
best.
it?
That's his best shot."
And I was kind of I'm child number 6, and I was scared of a lot of stuff, and I couldn't sleep at night. And when Joe was around, then I was happy and I could sleep and I wasn't scared.
After I gave you
and
my little jacket.
yeah, I had to sleep with his little jacket, and I guess my parents could see that I was quite
Smitten.
happy.
You were smitten.
I was smitten. I was happy when he was around. I was smitten. And they go, they didn't.
Is smitten just the older generation that says that? Is anybody under
How do you spell
anybody
it?
under 30 out there that have used that word before?
And so Joe's still coming down every day, and I worked at the sewing plant, and my dad, I guess he says, well, I think you guys need
a breather.
A breather. You need because Joe was coming down every day.
I forgot about the breather.
And and I'm thinking, oh, how can I go that long? Didn't he say a week? You have to go a week without, because you need to stand back. He says you need to stand away from the trees to see the forest.
No,
and I had no idea what he meant. He's right, though.
He was right.
And I had no idea what he meant. And I just thought, oh, I miss him. And so Joe would sneak down to where my job was, and he'd bring me Kentucky Fried Chicken. And he stayed away for 2 days.
And brought
then
me cherries once.
Brought me some cherries. And
grapes.
He'd come down and visit me during my lunch break at work. So
that doesn't count as seeing each other.
But you did go 2 days without seeing me. And we didn't have cell phones back then. And I'd call and I'd say, I miss you. And I miss you too. You know how you are. And and I just, it's just so sad. Then finally when the week was over, then Joe's coming down again. And, I guess my dad didn't know you were coming to my job. And I wasn't going to say anything. No, we had, 15, 20 minutes together during my lunch break.
That doesn't count.
Yeah, it doesn't count.
Yeah.
And that made Joe want me even more. he's starting thinking marriage, and of course I'm not thinking it. I'm just thinking, oh, it's fun.
No,
out.
I didn't dare think about marriage.
Not yet, yeah, not yet.
All I know is that I can keep seeing her.
Yeah, and so my mom and dad just, allowed him to come around, and they could see that how happy I was, and.
Were you dating Michael then?
Michael, I didn't really count him because we were set up. Somebody.
And he tried to kiss you goodnight.
Oh, and I was not interested.
And he wanted you to sit in the back seat at a movie or something?
No, that was somebody else.
Ooh, listen to her.
No,
I
was not interested in it. No, I never got to date anybody in high school. And here I'm out of high school, and this one boy, he...
Okay, let's
we
get
were
back
set
to
up.
me.
Okay, back to you. But
okay.
I wasn't interested in anybody. I liked Joe's kisses. I liked Joe's company.
Ooh.
I liked being around him. I felt safe. I felt... I didn't really want anybody my age.
And all your sisters thought you were cool because you had a boyfriend.
Oh, really? Did they?
Oh, I thought, well...
Okay, they thought I was cool.
You had a lot to explain. Has he kissed you yet?
Yeah, of course I'd have to report back to my sisters.
Didn't they ask if you...
Yes, they did.
Okay.
And so, so we're dating, and then Joe decides where he's going to pop the big question. And this is 3 months now into our dating. And it's just fun. To me, it's just fun having him come around, and I just like being with him and him helping me with my chores. And my dad, we got to tell about the apple tree. My dad somebody had pulled out an apple tree, some big machinery at this one guy's property, and my dad, he says, oh, you got to save that apple tree. And so he brings it to his property and plants it. And he says, if that tree dies, you two can't get married. And so Joe would come down every day and he'd water that tree, and he goes, please don't die, please don't die. And I said, Dad, you can't say if that tree dies that we can't get married. He goes, if it dies, that's a sign you can't get married. And so Joe just was praying for that apple tree to live. And I don't know if I made it. After we got married.
I think I had a 5-gallon bucket, and I had to. It's probably about a 10-minute walk.
It was out back. We lived on a 20-acre farm, and you had to walk a ways with that bucket of water.
I recall it being at least a 10-minute walk to get to it.
And I didn't have time to water it. I had my own chores. I had to milk the cows. I had to feed and water goats and chickens, and I didn't have time to go water that tree. And I thought it was just a little joke Dad was playing around, but Joe took it serious. He says, I got to keep that apple tree alive. And he'd walk down there with that bucket of water, keep that tree alive. My dad said, is that tree still alive? And Joe said, yeah, still going good. I've been watering it every day. So that was kind of funny. And
how's our time doing?
Oh, we're doing good.
Okay.
We're doing good. And so my sisters are kind of thinking, oh, say goodbye to him. Say goodbye. You don't want to marry somebody that much older than you. And I said, no, I love him. And there's one sister that she said that Kathy, that she believed. She says, no, Roseanne, don't say goodbye to him. You really love him. I can tell. Don't say goodbye to Joe.
Oh.
And so that let up on the pressure. And I remember going to, we called it Mutual back then. It was a gathering for, up in the mountains. There's a place called Mutual Dell. Mutual Dell. It was a cabin up there that the church owned, and we'd go up there. And Joe came up there. We rode up there, and
Kathy invited me to go.
Yeah, Kathy invited, because I didn't want Joe to go because.
There's one guy that all the sisters liked.
All the sisters liked him. My sister Judy.
They didn't pay any attention to Roseanne, but
yeah, but I thought.
And when they were in school, they didn't talk to him at all because
Doug didn't talk.
They were a different class of people.
Yeah, and there's this one guy, because nobody wanted to date the Bueller girls. So, but this one guy, he was cute. He's a new kid in town, and I thought, Doug will be there. And so I didn't want to invite Joe. And so I thought, because Judy wasn't coming, because he liked Judy. And so we were up there, we were playing ball.
But didn't he lose all his hair and put on weight
later on? Yeah, but who could see that coming, 30 years down the road.
You're right.
But we were just, all us girls were smitten with him. And I thought, Doug will be there. And of course, he wasn't interested in me at all. But I just thought he was cute, and I didn't want Joe there.
All Judy was we both had sticks in our sword fighting. That's how they flirt.
Oh, I think Judy was there.
Oh, battery going.
Yeah, yeah. All right, battery's back in. Okay. All right, where were we? Oh, Doug, yes.
We don't have to spend
And Joe
too long
doesn't
on
even
him.
like me to even say the word Doug, and we'd never kissed, we'd never dated. I was just smitten by him. But Kathy invites, my sister Kathy invites Joe up. And so I'm kind of paying all my attention to Doug, and then a friend, Deanna, my friend.
There's a fire going.
Yeah, there's a fire going inside the cabin, and you know how you have a little fire going in there. And my friend Deanna comes over, and she says, Roseanne, didn't you invite Joe up here? And look at him over there. He's just kind of poking. There's not even a marshmallow on his stick, and he's poking at the fire. And says, look how sad. And I looked over there, and I go, oh. So sad.
Did it look sad?
It looked sad,
and
I thought,
felt sad.
Says I gotta quit trying to
have your one
chance play around with Doug. You know, just sit there trying to get Doug's attention when I had Joe there, and so I went over and says, well, you want a marshmallow to put on that stick?
Did you say that?
Or something like that.
Yeah.
And so I just paid attention to Joe the rest of the night, and Joe was sad, and I had to cheer him up, and that was, I remember my sister Kathy, that's when she met her fellow that night too. It was where you bring a lunch, and the guys they don't know who the girl is that made the lunch in a paper bag, and this guy comes out, Grant, he comes over and asks us, which one's Kathy's
So he
lunch?
was at that too?
He was at that too. And so I tell him, oh, it was my sister Kathy. And it might have been the same or a different one. In my memory, it was the same outing. Yeah. But so that was fun that she meets her fellow. And then, so I get Joe all cheered up, and he still comes down every day, and he decides this will tell how he asks me to marry him, and then we'll end. So we're coming home from something we'd gone to, and Joe, he says, I stopped under before you asked me to marry you. Okay, this is all in the same time. Okay, yeah. It's hard to go back 40 years. Okay, so we go back, and Joe pulls off the Highland exit just off to the side of the road. And he goes, I got something.
No, we're on the bridge.
Yeah. And so Joe says, I got something to tell you. And I go, okay, what? And he goes, I love you. And I go, oh, say it again. He goes, I love you. And I go, oh, say it again. And you must have said it like 100 times. I go, say it again, say it again.
And I was thinking, that's a good sign that she likes to hear that. Yeah. That's a good sign.
It was so funny. I kept making him say it, and of course, I didn't say it back, did I? I was just so excited.
No, but still, you're saying it with your actions.
Oh, okay. So I was just so excited that he's saying, I love you, I love you. And he goes, I got something else to tell you. And I go, what? And he goes, I want to,
I said, I can't tell you that yet.
I know, but I kept saying, tell me, and I made you tell me. It was all the same day.
Oh, okay.
And he goes, I want to marry you. I go, oh.
That
scared me. I thought, marriage? I hadn't even entered my mind. And Joe goes, oh, dang, I blew it. Because you wanted to tell me later, but I kept saying, oh, tell me, what is it? Because the I love you was so wonderful. I thought, what else you got? You know? And then the marriage, I go, oh, marriage?
She was not expecting that.
No, I go, oh, okay. And then Joe reaches under his seat and pulls out this little box. Did you have the ring that day? I think you did.
No, because I had to.
Or was that another day?
It was another day. Because remember, I had to go find it and pick it out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that got me thinking. So he hadn't got the ring yet, and so he's thinking, oh, she didn't seem too excited, and so I had to grow on me. I had to kind of get used to the idea, because he just barely told me he loves me. And then he says, marriage.
Weren't you thinking about breaking up?
It kind of scared me. I thought, it just scared me. Because, you know, you're going around having fun. The boy comes down to see me. We go out on dates and have fun. And all of a sudden marriage, and it just scared me. It just kind of took me back. It was too soon. But then, so we're coming home another night, and Joe pulls off the side of the road, and he goes...
No, let me tell him the part about the ring.
Okay.
So I wanted to get her a ring, and so I went downtown Salt Lake, went to a really small shop there, and kind of priced the rings. You know how you do. Men don't know much about it. They kind of look at the price and everything.
You got to go by the price.
Anyway, so I decide on what to get, but then the girl says, "So what size finger does she have?" And I thought, what size finger?
I don't know.
I was almost confused by the question. Like, doesn't it just
one size fits all?
Doesn't it just go on the push it on? And so I looked at her hand and I said,
the sellers,
the lady. I said,
lady.
It's about the same size as yours.
Looks like your fingers.
So she took a guess at it. No, it looked like the same size. Looking at the hands.
Okay, so he purchases the ring.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'll show you the ring. I don't know if it'll focus on it. It focuses on our faces. Anyway, I'll take a picture of the ring later. Anyway, and so Joe pulls off the side of the road again, and he pulls out this box from under, just this little box. I'm thinking, oh, what's this? And I'm kind of excited. I open it up.
Were you thinking it was a ring?
Yeah, because it looks the size of a ring box. Now I open it, and there's a stocking in there, a sock, a white sock. And Joe's over there just laughing his head off. And I'm totally confused. I go, what is this?
I don't know why I did that.
He thinks this is so funny. He goes, did you think it was a ring? And I go, yeah. I go, why is there a sock in here? And then he reaches somewhere else, and he goes, okay, here's the ring. And
so I go, oh. I got the real box.
So you had the real box.
So the real box was inside that white one that I gave you.
Or separate, I can't remember. It was in the same box.
Yeah.
And I go, oh, pretty. And then I go to slip the ring on, and it doesn't fit. But I said, oh, make it fit. And I make it fit. So I squeeze it on. It was like a size 5, and I'm a size 7 or something like that. It was 2 sizes too small. But I did manage to get it on. And we were going to my Uncle Sylvan's house. So we drive down there, and we always had dances in houses, the families. We'd always just dance together. So we're having this dance in my Uncle Sylvan's basement. And somehow I always had these little spies. You know how younger siblings are. They're always spying on the ones that are dating. And so they're spying, and apparently they get, somehow the word escapes that I've got a ring on my finger. And so they go running in and tell everybody, and I'm thinking, this ring hurts. So I barely get it off. I think, Joe, you've got to...
Did you have to put soap on it?
I can't remember how I got it off, but I was able to get the ring off, and so Joe can go resize it. And everybody comes running out, let's see your hand. And of course, there's no ring on it. And I go, what are you guys talking about? No. You know, of course, we poo-poo it. And anyway, we go dancing, and we're dancing in my uncle's basement and stuff. And takes, a couple weeks to get it resized?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Or something. And then we finally let the cat out of the bag, and so we set the date for September 13th, 1970.
Friday the 13th.
Right, yeah, we turned out to be Friday the 13th, but we didn't know, how you get smitten, we'll use that word. And we didn't even think of Friday the 13th. And we announced it, and everybody's excited. Woo! And we have a 2-month engagement, courtship, and my mom pretty much just planned everything, and I made my wedding dress, and we're getting the bridesmaids' dresses sewn up, and we sewed all those up, and Joe was still coming down every day, and it's just fun planning the wedding, and finally the wedding day comes, and we head up to the temple. I remember sleeping overnight. I left my house that morning, the night before, because I was going to sleep up at my sister's house, my sister Sherry's, because I had to get up at 5 in the morning and Joe brought down his yellow Gremlin, it was called, his car, and loads it up, and all I have is, I didn't have a suitcase, did I? I had some clothes and some socks, and that's all I owned. I didn't have anything. And so Joe said, that was easy moving you out. I said, see you guys at the temple tomorrow. And I remember my uncle-in-law, what's Stephen? My brother-in-law,
Yeah.
Stephen. He's always kind of a jokester, so he comes in at 5 in the morning to wake me up, and he says, "Roseanne, get up! It's time to go get married." And I go, "No, it's not," because I thought I'd just barely gone to sleep. And Joe. And he says, "Joe's going to be here any minute. You got to get up and get ready." I go, and I turn around and just turn over in my bed and go back to sleep. And Stephen goes, "Oh, well. Okay, now tell your story. You come to their house, to Sherry's house, to pick me up."
All I know is that I got there and said she's still in bed. and boy, it came crashing in on my head like, so she's not taking this very serious. I mean, we're having the biggest day of my life. And
I think Stephen's playing a joke on me. I always think people playing jokes on me. I guess I was an easy target. I don't know.
And I remember shaking you and saying, "Roseanne."
So you woke me up?
We are really have to get
and
up.
And I think, oh, it really is time to get up. And Stephen goes, "I tried to tell you." So I hurry. I can get ready fast. So I get ready. So that worries Joe a little bit.
But don't they, when you get married, don't they usually fix your hair for an hour, or your friends?
Usually, but me, I was a little farm gal. I probably had curlers in my hair. I just ripped the curlers out and brush it. I wasn't a fusser, and then I wasn't a fusser on makeup or anything. I probably got ready in 10 minutes. You know, it's my wedding day and I'm still in bed. So that kind of worried Joe a little bit. I go, "I'm so sorry." And I thought, says it's Stephen's fault because he's always playing jokes. And Stephen goes, "Don't blame me. No, it's not right." So we head off to the temple and wait for the family to get there. And
that's probably
well, I got to end one more thing. Let's say one more thing. So we're the sealer guy, the guy that's marrying you. He, you know, I'm just the whole family's in the room sitting there, and it comes time for me to say yes. We say
I do.
yes. No, we say yes.
Oh, okay.
We don't say "I do" in the temple. And it says, "Roseanne, do you take Joe Orgill to be your," whatever they say, I can't remember. And I'm just looking, and we're across from each other, and I'm just looking at Joe. I'm not even listening to the guy that's marrying us. And I'm supposed to say yes, and I'm just sitting there, and here's another panic for Joe. He's going, "Roseanne." I go,
well, it's
"What?"
total silence
Because he's waiting for me to say yes, and I could not hear a word he was saying. The sealer guy, the marrier guy, and I go, oh yes, yes. And so that kind of worried Joe there too, that I paused, and I go, I wasn't listening. And so anyway, we get married, and
here we
go to our.
Oh, I thought you were crying right now. Oh, you are crying. Our favorite phrase is, "Roseanne, are you crying?"
No, I remember we did the wedding breakfast and everything, and then it was time for Joe to take me and to go to our new life.
Yeah.
Can't believe I'm crying. But anyway, so Joe holds my hand and we're running across the parking lot. And Joe turns around and he says, "She's mine now, Fred." That's my dad's name. And I remember,
there with his hands in his pocket.
Yeah, I remember looking back and my dad's hands were in his pocket. And it was just kind of like slow motion. Running across the parking lot. The reality hit me that I'm leaving home. This is it. I'm going to a new life. And I just see my dad standing there and with his hands in his pocket.
I should have told him to take his hands out of his pocket.
Take your hands out. But here's another funny part. The state fair was going on that day, and we'd always go.
Okay, now careful how you tell.
How I say it. And Joe goes, "So, what do you want to do now?" And I'm thinking, what do I want to do now? I said, "I want to go to the fair." And Joe's going, "You want to go to the fair?" And I go, "Yes, and buy me."
I was thinking just check out the hotel maybe.
Yeah, and I says, "Buy me a crumbled apple," because when we'd go we couldn't afford any of that stuff. I said, "Buy me crumbled apple, a hot dog." And Joe's thinking, oh my gosh, that's what happens when you marry a little 18-year-old. Has no experience, a little farm girl. So we went to the fair, and we've been doing that every year for 42 years. Oh my gosh. Anyway, the quote we'll have for today is, "Just enjoy the ride." I was looking at that picture of Zay, "Just enjoy the ride." And that's what it's been like for us, and we'll end there. And so I'm going to go have some fun with my sisters. Leave Joe here. We're going to go to Strawberry Days. Huh? You got stuff to do. Joe doesn't like to go with the sisters.
Why would I?
I don't know.
Where's your ring? Oh, I thought
No,
you
it's right there. I got my ring on.
I went like this. I went, where's the ring?
I don't take my ring off. Some people do, but I leave it on.
Next time, tell about...
I have lost the diamond.
No, that you're telling that.
Oh, okay. Next time we'll tell about how I found my diamond. Okay. All right. Thank you. Good night, everybody. Oh, dear.
When I saw you, I knew I loved you from the very first time. Then you touched me, oh, you kissed me.